Oh.
Are you celebrating?
We're recording, yay!
I'm supposed to read the top one?
You don't need to read these anymore,
That's what I thought.
so you can open the meeting and take attendance.
Okay. So, hi, Casey. Nice to see you.
Andrew, how's it going?
Now, we're going to introduce everybody, and then we're going to have Casey have a few words about who he is and what he does and all those good things. And Casey is our newest member who replaced someone that couldn't continue.
Oh.
So I'm going to call the meeting to order and do a roll call. Andrew?
Here.
I'm going to have everybody say their name.
Okay.
Joe?
Joe Foster. Casey Schmidt.
Lindsay Pietro.
Barbara Lavoie.
Kathy Williams, Town Planner.
And Sharon Weimer. And we are going to go into public comment, if there is any public comment. I'm not sure if anybody's Zooming with us or not, Kathy.
We have Tom Nicanello. Whoops.
Tom, do you have any questions?
Do you want to raise your hand, Tom? We can allow you to speak.
And I didn't get John's roll call.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
John Anderson here.
Thanks, John. We're all set. So we're going to go to the agenda, and our first thing on the agenda is having Heather, who is our consultant, talk about the survey approach that she's been working on. But before I get there, I apologize. I do want to introduce Casey to everybody. And Casey, can you just say a few words about yourself so we all know who you are?
All right, sure thing. So Casey Schmidt, been a resident of Yarmouth since 2020. Although my spouse grew up in Yarmouth, so it's kind of our vision to move back here. So I'm currently CEO of an AI startup for network security. Prior to moving to Cape Cod, I was with the federal government in DC and overseas for about 16 years. I'm just really excited to join this committee. I know it's very important. There's a lot of diverse options out there. So just, again, very excited to work with everyone and try to be part of a good solution for our community. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Casey. And you didn't include anything about your past athletic prowess.
No, formerly, long time ago, professional soccer player. So I certainly have a passion for athletics. Although recreation is not the only interest that I represent, but it's just part of it.
Certainly, I just like part of it. And
Colorado Rapids. Oh, I actually, yeah, in basketball as well. Now
I had asked Casey to be with the rec department, so he was able to get to one of the rec via Zoom because he's been very busy. And to your right is Joe Potska, who is a rep as well for the liaison for the rec committee as well. And Roby is in Florida, and she also is here. And Jonathan is with the finance committee, Lindsay's with capital, and Andrew's with capital. So we have a great mixture, and three other folks that don't belong, but we're trying, right? So if we could get back to Heather, I apologize for taking so long, Heather, but yeah. We were sent the community survey through today and received it today. Hopefully everyone's had some chance to take a look. And Heather, how do you want to start and proceed?
So I actually put all of the survey questions onto a slide deck. I figured it'd be easier for everybody to see the screen and we can work off of those.
Terrific.
These are, I don't know why it's not speaking.
Yeah, I don't either.
Maybe you had like fancy transitions and you need to arrow it.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't see, I don't know how to get rid of the people.
You just
On this-
use it.
Big
I don't
number?
see them on my screen.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see them on my screen.
It's in the handout too, on the agenda.
Oh, geez, Louise, what did I just do?
So basically,
There you go, got it off.
I'm gonna try and
we
share.
are recommending, and I know that we thought we were gonna use SurveyMonkey as the online platform for this, but been looking at the cost of it and looking at how logistically it would work. We have access to our GIS as a suite of tools. So we want to do Survey 123 because it does the same exact things that SurveyMonkey can do. And we already have our subscription to it, so we don't need to worry about trying to figure out how to make it work with certain licenses and certain people with access and all of that. We can just do it in-house on our own. So what we did was we took all of the information that is on the website that Bill was able to post, and we went through it and summarized all the different uses and summarized all of the different challenges and concerns and pros and cons and what would be needed and how some of these ideas align with different master planning documents that the town has developed. And we came up with kind of the questions in that way. So it's not something that we just kind of looked at, okay, land use teams are looking at these topics, and so we're going to create these questions. It became directly out of what was provided from the information from those land use teams. You know, the introductory page of the survey, we were thinking would have something like this, where it would introduce the site, we'd have a picture of the site, talk about the project and the charge of it, and lay out the following areas of how the site can be reused. Directing people to the website to look at that information if they wanted to. And then saying how the survey will help us in terms of getting to those reuse scenarios. So that's I don't want to try to wordsmith this part of it. That's just kind of the introduction to the survey and what people are going to see when they go to that first page. So these are where we get to the more specifics of the questions, and they're related to community needs, policy issues, supported uses. So how people feel about the uses that have already been brainstormed and talked about, ranking them, talking about housing specifically, talking about development preferences specifically, more so private development, retail, restaurant, commercial, office, open space priorities, recreational amenities, ownership preferences. So a question about whether or not the town should maintain some of a portion of the property and sell the rest, or the town should sell the entire property, or the town should sell none of the property. Looking at the building condition and throwing in a little bit of information about the building assessments that have been done to give people a little bit of background and seeing what their preferences are on. Should the building stay? Should it go? Should a portion of it be reused? Looking at site benefits in terms of reuse, any kind of concerns related to development of the site, and then asking a few demographic questions. So that's kind of what the survey is the basis of. So the first question that's related to what Bill had put into his memo to Monk, kind of the fiscal impacts and trying to figure out policy in terms of setting forth a path for redevelopment. So the idea here is that this will be a ranking priority, highest to lowest, on how somebody feels about the following statements, and that is, there's a housing shortage and the town must work to address it. The site is a prime development site for housing. The town needs to prioritize study the feasibility of relocating municipal facilities such as recreation, library, and town administrative offices to the site. It's imperative that future development on the site contributes to the town's tax base and reduces reliance on residential property taxes particularly. I am concerned about increased traffic and environmental impacts from development at this site, and I would like to see it become open space or parkland. And the last choice in terms of the ranking would be there are not enough recreational facilities in town. This site is a prime development site for both indoor and outdoor sports and health and wellness.
Do you want feedback on
Yes.
these? Okay. First of all, I think the survey overall was really good. I liked a lot of it. But when you're referring to recreational facilities, are you just looking at sports and athletics? Because I think arts and education, adult education are a significant component. The population in Yarmouth is leaning towards the older 55 plus. And a lot of folks, I think, would like to take a bathing class, pottery class, an adult education class. So, so I don't know if recreational facilities incorporates those concepts or not.
In the way I have written it, no, but I can certainly incorporate that.
Anyone else for the first question or section? I have a comment. So some of the statements seem more leading than others. So thinking that our goal is to get accurate data, that maybe they should all mirror one another in the sense of what the heck. So if you start out by there is a housing shortage, while another starts out, it's imperative that future development site. It to me is sort of biased in terms of motivational for someone to pick one or the other. And I don't think we should do that. I think if you're going to structure them all with problem statements or motivational statements, that they all should be that way. So that would be one of my goals for, I mean, I know we talked about, trying to be unbiased, and so I don't know if you see it that way, but that's how I see that first section in question.
But it's like a methodology question, right? So it's which of these statements it resonates most strongly with, right?
Heather, I was thinking that you're asking them to drag and drop this. Is that the easiest way, or numbering them, or?
I think in terms of the capability of the ArcGIS tool, I think the dragging and dropping is the most easy way to capture the priority. What we're trying to do is get the priorities, right? So like being able to say the one that resonates the most with you goes to the top versus numbering, which I think will be harder to calculate results with at the end.
So these are bullets, but does it appear as a box? Because I thought somewhere down it said check
Yes.
box or something.
Right, so it won't have bullets,
Bullets,
it'll
yeah.
just have those statements and you'll be able to
Move
your
it.
cursor to drag, like, you'll be able to pick up one and put it where you want it to be.
Okay.
And, if you drag from the bottom to the top, it's gonna replace.
So, I mean, so for number 2, it says checkbox. So that's why I was, maybe that needs to be eliminated.
Well, but once it goes into the ArcGIS platform,
Yeah,
it will make a little bit more sense, I think,
Sense,
when you're
yeah.
able to actually see it, yeah.
okay. Is this something that we try out and once it's
I can send a link once it's
set?
available.
You had a question?
Yeah, Jay Brandy, it's a mouthful, but I'll tell you, interim economic development program manager. You had a concern about those being leading questions. I was wondering if, because they've asked specifically uses later on, whether this is more of an introductory statement versus something people have to cherry pick from. It's just a thought.
That's what I saw. Not like, are these your concerns?
Yeah.
Bullet items.
Or what other concerns would you list? If it's not
Sure.
there? an idea.
Can I just,
So, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You-
no, go
I don't
ahead.
want to interrupt you.
no,
I do know that when we did the survey for the drive-in site, we did ask some policy questions. And the one about economic is really just talking about whether you contribute to the town's tax base, basically indicating that whatever you're building there is generating property taxes, which is one of the economic questions. But do we care about whether we want to encourage job creation? Is that something that's important to you? And maybe one of the things that we had there was creating in the drive-in site was create employment and expand the seasonal economy and or support the year-round economy. I think that's something that
Yeah.
we've been trying to get at. And then there's also, instead of just the direct impacts of that, whatever gets done on that particular property, how do we feel about the indirect impacts of things like what does whatever go there also going to be encouraging investment in property, meals, rooms, taxes in other locations in town? I think that's kind of what Bill was kind of getting at with his memo, where he kind of had the indirect, fiscal, direct, and all of those different items. So I don't know if you want to get into that, or it's too involved, or you don't want to have, you only want to have a certain number of these questions, but job creation and then maybe some indirect.
I think it's a valid point. People are thinking that naturally, right? You know. Is it gonna generate any sort of income outside of just that location? There are ringlets to it.
so if we're moving these in terms of highest and lowest, are you, and I still have problems with leading terms. I don't want leading terms, but I want whatever, and Kathy would know because she's just been through a vision plan of, what we're looking for in different places. So if in fact this is community needs or policy issues, clearly define it and then do what everyone thinks it should be done. And I guess I'm struggling with what everybody thinks. Employment, job creation, relocating municipal facilities. What else is in here? Are there traffic and environmental concerns? I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff, recreational stuff in here. So,
I think you ask those questions later
Yeah.
in there. I do think that the idea was kind of more of this, how do you feel about these strong statements? Do you agree with these strong statements? And in what order do you agree with them? Because I think, some of the things that we have identified in the LCP is that we do have a housing shortage. I think most people understand that the town's working on that. We have a housing production plan, and that type of thing.
so keep the main ideas, maybe add employment and job creation, or
I would add job. It's up to you guys. I would just, when I read it, in going back to the drive-in site, I really think something about job creation, and then because the economics are going to matter to a lot of people. And so there's and then maybe another item with regard to the indirect. And maybe you want to tone down, like it's imperative, maybe it's important, maybe tone it down a little bit,
That could be where you added it. About job creation was like creating, adding to the tax base. Like,
Exactly, that could include the economic.
yeah,
the economic-
job creation and alleviation from like personal property tax.
you could just contribute to the town's economy, such as, and then list a bunch of them.
yeah. That's
Have
good.
here on it.
Have you done
Good
this?
thing you're here, Ken.
I don't know about that.
Go to question 2.
Okay, I'll go first. I like all your questions again, but, I would probably remove the cultural center because we do actually have a cultural center. And I wouldn't want to compete with that because they do a very nice job. But I would again incorporate some kind of a recreation, art, education center. So, some kind of category that inserts that. The other thing that I might consider, if it were me, is just having them select their top 3 so that we can begin to narrow down, where the town or the community's focus really might be.
I think that's question 3.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, like prioritize it, but are you open to any of these?
Right, in other words,
Consider.
people would choose their 1, 2, and 3, and then when the program compiles it, will, housing could have, 600 votes, and municipal, whatever, could have 500, and it would kind of be calculated appropriately, and then we'd know, oh, these 3 pieces, whatever they are within the list of 10 or whatever, are the most important issues in our focus, and then kind of,
This is the same exact, these are identical lists, and this is just what uses are you open to, as Lindsay was saying, to have on the site? And then of those things, what are your top priorities? What are your top 3?
Exactly, you could phrase it like that if you wanted to, but these are all the considerations versus, either pick, if you're into a pick one, that could be pretty tough because you can't really pick
Yeah.
one. And I think the site can accommodate more than one possibility.
Would it-
Um,
Would
Yeah,
it make
if
more
you got
sense?
multiple Spots.
Yeah.
Spots, so
but
maybe,
only 3, versus.
Versus the
Would it-
ranking.
Would it make more sense just to, at the end of the sentence, number 2, just say, please check all that apply?
But check on.
I,
I think any clarifying things to people that kind of comes as you develop the actual.
community center section, maybe that's the part. where you have to keep a reference to
Oh, there you go.
the classes are- yeah, so maybe not a cultural center, so that we don't intrude on that space, but that the community center would be like the arts, the activities, the social.
Cultural center does offer
Yeah, I know, they're great.
cooking and what they do offer, I think, in actually.
they can, what,
Okay. Upstairs there.
at the cultural center?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yes, I'm aware of that.
So if you want some
but,
additional, saying you want to keep it that way.
I think your idea is great, and I think you're combining it with that instead of knocking out cultural centers, just put community centers, that's recreation, art, and education, and just leave it at that. Because I think that's kind of all the great things that do come in a community center.
And then still have indoor recreation, outdoor recreation?
Maybe when you say recreation, you identify that more as towards sports, physical activity focused. Oh, and our rec center does a lot of stuff that isn't just, you know what I mean? Like if we think about what the Yarmouth Rec Center does, it is classes, it's activities, it's physical, it's creative, it's community. So however you can differentiate between like. Yeah, that's,
When you list them, do you list them in alphabetical order? How did you decide housing was first?
based on number 2.
I'm just curious. but
Oh,
Well,
Another way of listing them. Not that-
I mean, I can list them alphabetical. I think it was just, these are what came out of what we were looking at, so we put them down. There was no rhyme or reason to the order.
Alphabetical is generally a safe bet.
Yeah, I think alphabetical may make this better. It's
It's a good suggestion.
We should list the highest one.
Yeah.
And I know that there's an elementary school there now, but I know that some other people were talking about education in general, like a tech school or something. Do we just want to, I know we had talked about elementary school, but maybe do we want to just say school? Either one.
Last night it was mentioned, excuse me, vocational school.
I mean, I heard rumors that.
Well, there is a requirement that one of the plans does have an elementary school.
Yeah, so.
Um,
Put it in the
And
list.
that's to be the Emmy Small, because they're anticipating that perhaps the Emmy Small will be demolished. But they think they need a site. But they're not sure if the site will be in a mixture of Station Ave or come back to Mattacheese, Emmy Small. So,
I guess Barbara's wondering whether we include school at all.
well, you don't want to know if they support a school at the site?
Well, I understand, but if, from an educational perspective, if I could have all my schools in one location, for a variety of reasons, not to mention the educational opportunities that that would present, then I probably would not consider putting one lone school back in, where the ME Small is.
Right.
I mean, that's my rationale, not to mention the financial savings you get by just having one water pipe go in versus, or one cable, whatever. That's my thought. So it might be a moot kind of question.
Well, might be mute, but just because they do decide to do exactly that, to find the land, take the solar out, or use the recreation lot that's off to the side of the intermediate school, there's 6.5 acres there. I mean, there are opportunities, but I guess you have to get over this traffic issue that seems to bother some people. And to me, they could find some other way to alleviate that through the back or the sides, but that's the school decision, really. It's not our decision, so. I would hope that people having the elementary school there, I think it would be a disservice to us as a MUC committee not to, because we know it's supposed to be
Okay.
in one. So I wouldn't want to be aimed. It's still a possibility that you're right, it's not going to happen. And because for educational value. So, but people have to be educated about the educational value and the not worrying about traffic on Station Ave. So there are things they have to get over, hurdles. So
we'll leave it in.
We think it's worth having a separate question because the education option is so nuanced compared to the other ones that there's just a question that provides a little more context about what is actually happening with ME Small and the different options. Would you prefer to have the school here versus somewhere else? So you're getting just a little bit more kind of like precise public opinion on that possibility.
I think it might be good to have it on this main front page.
Yeah.
That just says, we're asking for your opinion. We don't know yet if a school will be on site as is or not, so more to come or whatever.
the other part is, and Lindsay knows this too, but the other part is that this process is just starting and going on. And not until December do they actually start a feasibility study for the school. So there's lots of things that are still going to have to happen. And they are going to have to step up and educate the community about their desire to have everything together. And, we can't do that for them. But, I'm a big education person. I think it's the important thing that all of us should be thinking about. But I think what makes it hard, it's a regional school system. And
But that's a
some of us
Yarmouth
don't
school.
own it. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
like
no, it's Yarmouth kids. 70% are Yarmouth, our kids.
only Yarmouth, the elementary schools are Yarmouth only.
Right,
We only hit regional, intermediate, middle, high.
right.
So that is a Yarmouth school, ME Small, and that property is Yarmouth
Right.
property. So it actually has nothing to do with Dennis. We don't have to consider them in that situation.
Right.
I just think if people are gonna hit this link on this survey, they're gonna be like, there's a school there. And so having it really clear at the beginning of just like, we know, and the school is working on their, just pretend for now that maybe it's just the Mattacheese only that building, yeah, or some that name. I think and this could be biased, but I think I just have a really hard time like imagining that if they already did a feasibility study years ago to see if Mattacheese was going to be renovated for education, why would anybody go into it? You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's asbestos and the doorways aren't wide enough and it's not ADA compliant and the repairs would cost more than building a new one. Here's what I did. So I have a hard time thinking that somebody's gonna be like, let's start a new tech school or something, but again, that's me, my personal bias of hard time wrapping my head around it. I don't think you should take it off the table because people may have something different to say.
I agree. Has to be included.
It'll be interesting to see what we just on all these questions, I think, but
So I think whatever changes get made to 2, but also get made to 3. But this is listed as ranking now, like you would do the dragging thing again.
Right. I can change that to pick your top 3 if we feel like that will get more out of the question in terms of priorities.
Don't you have opportunities later to do top 3 with some of your questions, or and maybe,
I mean, I like that idea. It doesn't eliminate any possibility, but it gives us a better ability to focus on what the community sees as the top 3, you know, whatever it may be.
A lot of them are similar. What would your 3 be is what I'm thinking right now.
I would actually like the top 5 and have
Yeah.
it keep drilling down as you, I mean, these words here, we're seeing it all the time. Somebody clicking onto it's gonna hit this thing the first time, and it's gonna like, I don't know. Maybe I'd like 5 of them, then I'll get down, you walk them through decision processes and they'll start to see, well, my real 3 are tax-based revenue generating business or whatever. And some open space and some housing or whatever they choose, but drive at least wider and then bring it in, I would think, for a first time login. Start with 3, you might get halfway through and say, oh,
can we
I
make
don't-
it be like a temperature gauge, like the pain
1 to
scale?
5.
You know what I mean? Like housing, super important. You know what I mean? Or is that not a
Well-
feature on this? Would that be helpful at all? Because then we would see right away, like people are saying, like, this is not important to me at all. Then we could be like, oh,
how about if we come back to 3 and see and remember this, you know, they're asking for your priority for items, but come back and see if there's other places we can drill down, as Andrew says, down to something.
If housing is included at the site, what housing types do you feel are appropriate?
I think anytime you have a checkbox option, can you just make it so that it says click all that apply,
Yes.
multiple entries?
Would you put these in alphabetical order again too?
Yes.
That makes sense.
I will, absolutely. At least we're not calling you out. Spelling right.
Are we agreeing that everything should be alphabetical, so we don't have to keep
Yes.
coming to say that? Yeah.
Are there any categories I missed in terms of types of housing?
Well,
There was a lot of talk of, like housing for town employees.
Yes.
Right.
That's the next
Sorry,
question.
I'm sorry, I haven't read this yet. so-
well, cluster housing, is that in the next one? Cluster housing was a term that they used quite a bit in the housing. And I didn't bring the example that Mary used a lot, was the single family homes that Habitat was doing over off of Wood Road. Down a couple of years from now, it'll be finished because they're waiting for the septic too. But so that a small piece of land has 5 houses. And she was talking about that. So I don't know, though, again, if people will know what cluster housing is. And that's, so I'm not quite sure how you do that.
Mm.
Does that require a zoning change?
Probably.
If you want to get the densities that we're
Yeah.
talking about. I mean, Habitat always goes 40B.
Okay.
So,
Habitat does?
Yeah.
Those 40B?
yeah, because they have
They-
6 units per acre across the street. And
Yeah. And that's okay then. You don't have to change the zoning because they go 40B, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Mm. Interesting. So I'm not sure the answer to that one. I guess for the moment, to keep it simple, I would probably say don't put cluster housing, but I don't know. What do you think? What about dense
For
housing?
the cluster, you put the words open space residential development. Because it can either be single family or multi-family.
Right,
Or
right.
I mean, typically our clusters basically says, if you could get 7 units on this parcel, you can cluster them all in this little area and they have all that rest of the open space. That's not what the Habitat
That
does.
does,
They use it all.
yeah.
So it's slightly different. I guess I wouldn't worry too much
Much
about
about it?
that. I think as we move along, I mean, we know what the programming is, we know what the space is, we know that we don't want to, I'm assuming we don't want to try to have 1 acre lots on this particular
Sure.
property.
You call it affordable?
We talk about a little bit of different types of affordability in the next
Sure.
question.
Okay.
I think these are just like, what would an apartment building be awful for you? You know, is that not something you want? Would you prefer it to be, you know, like little townhouses or and maybe another ideas or combination thereof, obviously.
So 5 is related more to specific groups for the housing. So fixed income senior housing, mixed income housing, affordable housing, workforce housing, which we qualify as saying intended for essential workers such as teachers, police officers, firefighters, healthcare workers, and service industry employees. Market rate housing, veteran housing, and then a separate one, housing designated specifically for municipal employees.
Do we want to talk about rental or home ownership? I didn't even think about that.
They do differentiate in the housing,
These are groups, though.
yeah. I mean, any of those could be owned or rented,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we probably should leave it.
Okay.
Do you think it's okay to say, please check all that apply? Is that, well, right after the question, I guess, is where I'm at, but.
You're trying to prioritize,
That's it,
so.
yeah.
Oh.
check 2.
Do we, drag and drop and or I think or to be prioritizing just.
Yeah, people check everything.
I know that would be me.
Right.
If I was taking a
I
survey.
think, yeah,
Yes.
I think you have to
We're
pick
gonna
a
do
number,
Really important.
2 or 3, and
Drag and drop or check 3.
Does our GIS have like a preferred methodology to use? I mean, like any polling sample or there's some kind of methodology kind of behind it that. Assume there would be recommendations, but 3 is like the best way to go to not inundate people and overwhelm them with their preferences. I don't know what that methodology is, but I think it's a question to maybe ask what the recommendations would be.
Yeah, I think check all that apply is going to
yeah,
narrow us down at all.
right. Makes sense.
No one's gonna finish the survey, right? Like,
Well, yes.
It's like so overwhelming and-
Yeah.
So check 3, maybe?
As long as it's not an open-ended question. It's
Yeah.
the ones that never get responded.
I know. I put in the others and Heather's like, oh, no. I think to get the information you guys really are looking for, we have a lot of great information. Most people probably will just pick these, but there might be some great ideas out there that we haven't heard yet.
Well, that's why I was saying we need public outreach to find out what they really want.
Right.
Yeah, somehow prior.
So I'll do
Yeah.
check up to 3.
For that one.
So that's not moving it. Checking is not moving,
No, but it's giving you the top three.
okay. But I mean, you're able to do both of those
Yes.
in your survey.
Do you care about the priority within those top three? Because you have no visibility, right? So we can narrow it down from 7 to 3,
So top three.
but then you have no.
But then so we do have another, we have like a workshop that, well, no,
Oh.
so after the survey, we'll have the results of that, and then we can kind of dig into some of those answers at the workshop, where we're trying to, really drill in more to be able to refine to 3 overall concept scenarios. So I think that maybe at that point where we can have that. Point.
So saying something like check top three doesn't necessarily mean to you when you view it that it's 1, 2, 3.
Correct, because it's going to be in alphabetical order. So it's just going to help us say, well, here's 7 ideas that were thrown out there in terms of the housing groups that, so now we're down to 3, which are the highest priority. Like, these are the 3 that people agreed are more important. So that.
Sharon, when we chatted last week, you said you really wanted a data-driven approach.
Right.
If it is a rank 1, 2, 3, the output would be like a statistical, it'd just be super clear, like what the mathematical output is. And you wouldn't need to do a lot of workshopping afterwards to, really kind of dig in, and extract nuance. You would just have the statistical output.
Don't know if the software allows just to rank 3 out of a list if you're not ranking all of them. Okay, so maybe just rank them rank. Yeah. My only thing is that the housing designated for municipal employees, that could possibly be a part of this workforce housing, just because our police and fire are. So if I was having to pick my top 3, I'd be like, which one of those? We'd have to probably take that one out. Yeah. Maybe merge.
Which one, Lindsay? I didn't hear.
If the housing for municipal employees is somehow merged with workforce housing, just because our.
Right.
So if we merge those 2 and then rank in order, all the remaining 6, I guess.
Certainly becomes clearer, at that day what they want.
But with workforce housing, you can't say who uses it. You say it's intended for these people, but you can't force that. The whole idea, I think, with the designated specifically for municipal employees was to actually try and have some mechanism where the town is funded a certain amount of housing specifically for municipal employees or teachers or maybe whatever they decide, healthcare. The legal mechanism of that is
So tell me
part of your employment. I don't know how that gets figured
Tell
out.
me the difference that you see from those 2 definitions, workforce housing or housing designated specifically for municipal employees. The housing designated specifically, I get.
Right, but workforce housing is like, you're trying to hire that police officer, they're not going to get first dibs on that workforce housing. It's first come, first serve. But this, and this is what the housing group actually recommended, was a certain number, 6 to 12,
Right.
of this
This
specifically municipal employee designated housing.
Right. So we're going to get rid of the workforce housing.
No. I think
Clarification, I didn't
Yeah,
recognize that before, but.
So just in general, like workforce housing is affordable housing for people who earn within a specific income range, which is typically 60 to 120% of the area median income, which a lot of,
I'm sorry, say that again.
it's typically between 60% and 120% of the area median income. That's how they define workforce housing, and that's what it aims to provide options for individuals who are part of that kind of income bracket.
Yeah, typically, capital A is 80% of your median income and less. So what about those people who make a little bit more money, don't qualify for that, but they don't make enough money to even come close to buying a house?
That's where that works.
And that's typically helps with rental housing. There's a lot of work.
So we have to do a little bit better definition for those two,
If we want to
Or
maintain that.
maybe
as
not so
being
much the
two
municipal.
separate things, then yes.
You have a little radio button that's like a click here,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like an info button that pops up
Yes.
that says, this is what we mean by that. Yep, that'd be helpful. Cool. Off topic probably, but like if we said it was reserved for municipal employees, like if they leave the YFD and go to Booster, do we kick them out? Like, how does that work? Off topic, but yeah.
There would have to be a policy that get developed and you probably have a certain period of time with which you would have to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, all right. Next.
That's risky. You're tying everything to your job, your health insurance, your housing.
Honestly,
It's like,
yeah.
I can't lose this job.
Yeah.
Sir,
Right. So, we good to move on?
So my just immediate comment would be just invert. Some concepts for Mattacheese site is what you lead with, and then you ask the question. I don't know, you've got it the other way, but
What do you
maybe
mean?
it's not a big thing. So
So, well, do I need the qualifier here underneath?
I don't,
You can delete it. And then you just have the question and you answer it.
Yeah, but you want multi-use to be the option first and then single use after that? That's what you were saying?
no, I was talking about the actual
Oh, great.
section. You either eliminate it or put it up front, in my opinion, but
Put it up front. Where? It's up
in front of the question.
I didn't.
It is in front of the question. I'm sorry.
My other comment on this would be, so you've got single use with a write-in, right? Do you want multi-use with a write-in?
Open-ended, terrible idea. No, I'm just kidding.
Kathy made me put this one in. I'm blaming Cassie.
Yep. I guess my suggestion would be, I mean, and I said this, I go, I don't like the example of housing because we're never proposing 100% housing there. So that kind of scares people.
So, but
So-
you're giving it as an example.
That's my concern.
Right, so do you put or?
I mean,
I was gonna say, or recreate, or only, right,
recreation?
right.
So should it be just, do you want it to be single use or not? Yes or no? Because if you're not asking.
That's true.
for
Then you're saying
multi-use,
multi.
Then there's no value.
That's a good point.
I thought the question was in the wrong location.
Where did you think it belonged, Jay?
Thought it should be after you go through all the various options that you're asking people to weigh in on. It might require you to slightly do a little wordsmithing on some of the questions, but that seems to be a wrap-up type question.
good point.
Sounds okay by me,
So after question number 3, or you mean at the
No,
end?
way
of
at
this
the
one?
end.
way at the.
Not at the, I would
For
say
the
before you get into
Demographic.
the ownership structure.
Okay.
You know, when you go through all those different uses that you're asking people about. I think they'll be better able to answer single versus.
Good help, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
So we're just gonna ask them for the single use and what they want? Or-
So how about not giving any examples and just say single use or multi-use?
I think the examples might help people.
Huh?
Maybe just saying like, for example, housing or commercial. You know what I
You need
mean?
multiple.
Don't just leave only housing, just maybe say only housing or only commercial.
Or you could do one of those little information boxes that says, this is what single use means.
Right, that might
I mean,
be,
this is what multi-use means, and people can make a decision.
how's that sound, Heather? And Jay's suggestion, of moving the question. Sounds okay with you too, Heather? Thanks, Jay.
If a multi-use site were developed, what amenities would you like to see most?
So.
He's thinking.
So, let's see.
There's open space.
So is there a reason we are limiting to 3 here?
So that somebody doesn't check all the boxes.
Okay. So maybe rephrase it to select your top 3. If you're afraid that they're gonna check everything.
I kind of think retail, restaurant, office space and daycare comes under commercial. It's almost like if that site is going to receive that type of commitment, it is trying to capture people coming in there to do something. And if I'm gonna pick 3, I almost think they're very similar.
I don't know about daycare as being similar, but
Well, I
I'm
think
paying for it.
you don't have, like, I'm getting my head when I say this, but you don't have control. of that. Like, you build the
True.
building.
Yeah.
And you get the tenants you can get,
That's right.
right?
Well, if the town is selling the land, there's a development agreement that could specify.
This is trying to get at like, what do you think we need here?
Right.
Right.
If we open this up to something.
I think office space is different than commercial.
Yeah.
Like that could be like
Office-
town offices or medical offices or, well, you say health and medical services later.
I mean, I could put commercial and then in parentheses retail slash restaurant.
Yeah,
Something that, well, just
yeah.
to narrow that down.
Isn't this question pretty similar to question number 2?
Could it be the same questions?
Yeah.
say that again. I'm sorry, Casey, what'd you say?
Should it be the same as question 2? Because you're getting to the point where you're proposing multi-use as an option. And so just like the psychology of what people are willing to pick is going to be a little different. So if the options are the same, it's how you're answering the question that's different to try to see what the priorities are.
Sorry, I kind of was in and out on the road. Is question 2 a multi-check,
I can call that
any and all?
what uses you would.
So what would you support at the site? Someone may only support 1. Somebody else might support 5.
I think for this question, the one thing I think of when you say event or performance venue, it makes me think of like, you know, a big concert, you know what I mean? And I think that might not be what, if there was a way to just a meeting space or like,
Yeah. Agree with that. That's,
if we say event, I think people are thinking of like, oh, the Stones are coming to town.
Coliseum
Like-
2.0.
What?
Coliseum 2.0.
Yeah.
Melody Kent's movie.
So
Yeah.
how do you want to reframe it?
Meeting. place
auditorium,
Or,
because they would have an idea of the Mattacheese Auditorium.
sure,
And,
meeting
and
or,
then you can rent that out in terms of events.
Is it like workspace?
but people have been talking
It's
about.
like a
Why-
convention
there's a
center with
place
some
in,
actual
like,
performances.
Boat show,
Convention,
So
medical show.
I almost feel like the question two should be at uh, a category level.
Yeah.
And this one is way more granular, like,
Yeah.
I almost feel like there should be double or triple the amount of items on this question. So like sports facility and playing fields, is that like tournament sports or is that recreation sports,
That's a good question.
right?
Yeah, I get that, because when I read indoor, outdoor, I don't get that feeling that it's gonna be a draw. You know, trying to attract, like some of the, the business side of this evaluation was let's draw national, or definitely regional, maybe even East Coast teams, softball, soccer, whatever. Let's see if we can draw them. And the indoor, outdoor makes me think,
Is it just a field?
exactly, it's very simple, like my
Yeah.
kids are going over there.
So if you had something like sports fields and then had them tournament level and recreation community level,
That's right.
those would
Sort
be
of
the,
both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a differentiation of them, right? Like health medical service, like needing one at CDC, right? That came up of like a hospital, basically, right? We know that can't go in there, right? But
urgent center.
there's a big difference between
I mean, there's no tax.
right. No, I know. I mean, I don't think the hospital could do it anyways, but an urgent center versus a chiropractor's. I look at a chiropractor office as retail,
Absolutely, it is.
right?
Yeah, they're paying well.
says something about you, John.
It is.
No, I get that. Dentist or whatever,
Yeah.
daycare.
I mean, I think daycare would be interesting to see how many people with this.
And in this.
I think it'd be
building.
pretty telling.
Doggy daycare.
Across the street.
We have that,
Yeah.
So Heather, how did we do on going back to two? Are we at two or are we back at where we were?
I thought people were fine with two because it was like macro and now you want to get to the micro.
So question 2 will be more of a category,
Yeah.
a general category, and question 7 will expand upon the category choices.
So driving down the funnel.
We love our funnel in the mug. See you, Jay.
Think big. get
Thank you,
small.
Jay.
We're gonna call you Mr. Animation.
Yeah, there's how down the funnel you want to go. And I mean, because there's a lot of topics, though. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
you don't want 50 and have to narrow it down to 3.
Right.
I think
A few more than what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15-ish is 12 to 15 to me. And 7.
Yeah, I think the tournament level versus the community recreation level is a good one because
Yeah.
that is the difference between the economic
You,
team and our local recreation team. It's kind of those two different options. Because you're gonna find a lot of people are very interested in tournament level in the economic section
That's
because it's
right.
gonna bring people in off season,
Hotels,
bring into
restaurants,
the, yeah,
yeah.
right. And recreation level is like, that's great, but who's paying for that?
Exactly, taxpayers.
Right.
Take care of those fields.
Yeah, it's a harder one. So I guess anything that you can think of, like that was a good one. So that was a good comment. Anything else? Like office space, I think, or daycare are good ones.
Well,
I mean,
I
how,
think
Okay.
like office space and I don't know what they're called. Like open.
Incubator.
Like meeting rooms or something like that?
Yeah, but
co-work
yeah,
rooms?
co-working, right?
Yeah.
Like that came up quite a
It
bit
did.
at CDC.
That's nice. Yeah. We work. Okay.
What were any of the other ideas that any of the other groups had? Are we missing anything? Because I feel like if we list any of the things that any of the groups or the teams said.
Well, the CEDC was also big on what Barbara has been talking about is more of an arts. What they did is in Harwich, and that was the example that was given at CEDC, was the Harwich School that became not used as a school, and they reinvented it and made it a place where all of the classrooms were rented out to artists. And the artists, paid a rent, but that's one of the datas that I would want to know. What are we talking about in terms of price? But, yeah, so that's kind of missing. And some people would say that interferes with the cultural center. So, I mean, at some point you have to maybe include something that might, it's feels may, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could interfere with somebody else's business.
Right, that's cannibalism.
Maybe
Yeah.
any of the things that people spitball during the muck around, if we just have them listed here, even if we know that they're, if those teams didn't make it to any of those ideas, the public might be of a different mind.
In a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's come up. I
It
haven't heard
hasn't
that
with
come up.
everybody that's on
I haven't heard that come up either. I think the hotels would probably not. The economics
the. No.
group would probably not want to hear that. They're trying to find ways to generate people's beds and heads in beds, not be more competition. Yeah.
Okay, so then depending on how many you have there, can you decide if it needs to be limited to 3 or maybe if it's 5 or, you know what I mean?
3 is very limiting. If you have
Artist
like,
account, maybe?
yeah, I always give more if there's a lot of options.
The retail, restaurant, office space, daycare, anything that's a rental type thing, is that like a strip? Is that what I'm seeing, like a strips,
No, you won't see a strip there, will you?
or like a little common thing? Where I drive in and park and I've got all these little shops right there connected out of the rain.
I don't think we know.
Could be.
Yeah, it could be.
If you were to
Usually
ask
in
the
that mall,
people, if you were to ask all the teams that we went to.
Yeah.
I had people putting housing at football fields. I had housing in the southeast corner. I had housing in the northwest corner. I had, people wanted nothing on the back line. That's open space and whatever, nothing on the back line. They wanted it all on the front line.
Sure.
And then I had housing people that didn't want the school anywhere except in the center of the site by the street. And, so.
Yeah, it's jambalaya, I get it,
Right.
One of the like comparison things that I sent to Bill was a school in Vermont maybe, and like they had repurposed it, and so there was a daycare and like a personal trainer and but it was in, like, imagine if the school wasn't a
Okay,
mess, and so no, it wasn't a strip mall, it was just like re-envisioned the school as it was with those spots in
okay,
it. But we're not there
Stairs.
yet. I feel like that's
elevator,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
for people who want to buy the land and develop. Is that you? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I've done that.
I was like,
and
you
I
already.
see that, you gotta stay on the first floor. You can't be doing stairs or elevators, stuff like that. It's just, it's too difficult. So easy access, ADA, in and out, visibility. These are commercial gods, see me from the street and we're driving in. So they're destination types, like a dentist, like a daycare. It's not like a coffee shop. For a coffee shop to go in there, they would need the sports center. They need somebody to go drop their kid off and go sit and work their computer or, chat on the phone, have a bake.
Mhm.
That's their draw. It's not somebody driving down the street going, oh, bagel shop.
You're right.
That's not gonna happen.
and we also have to think of neighborhood. So in terms of a strip mall on Higgins Croll, I don't think it's gonna make it.
Not a strip mall.
No, you're
It's like a
talking,
little.
yeah, it could be done nicely, sure,
Sure. Do it.
but you're right, it's,
Done like six there.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. sure.
I guess avoiding the worst elements of what we envision a strip mall is
Right.
the key. If that were in fact,
Yeah, I
It's gonna
can't
be put
imagine
in.
being more than like 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
You
I
need
think
a sewer.
that's-
You
Yeah.
need,
That, this
zoning
is all
change.
future. I think that that's, we're looking like 5 steps ahead
Right.
by thinking that
Right.
stuff. But all valid.
I mean, I think you probably have a bunch in the questions. Like, that you could list that are different, right?
Mhm.
What do you mean by that, John?
Just like walking trails in question 9 is different than sports facility playing fields.
I have I have
talking number 8?
retail, restaurant, office, co-working, daycare, meeting/convention space, arts, education, performance, rented artist space, health or medical services, which if we want to get more specific, you could do like a health spa, which is all the rage in some areas. Urgent care, dentist, doctor, like you could specify that instead. Sports center, playing fields, recreation/local, multi-sport complex, tournament, competitive, regional. Just a general open space. Just a general housing, and then hotel.
So we're
We're
limiting
missing
to 5,
School,
pardon?
we're missing school.
Think that that gets addressed at the beginning. Like that's, yeah, you know what I mean, in our intro survey, just. Yeah, that's only my opinion, though,
I don't mind it being in there again. So,
The recreation committee can come down on its recommendation for indoor. An indoor sports complex. So they talk about, did they recommend a pool and kind of wellness in there? Envisions of basketball courts inside, or did they?
They-
shy away from that?
they haven't finished yet.
Well,
Okay.
they have single idea and 2 scales, they finished.
Good.
They were just talking about 4 multi-purpose basketball courts with bleacher seating, 10 to 12 pickleball courts, 1 indoor multi-purpose turf field. Indoor walking running track, adjacent multi-purpose rooms for crafts, yoga, gaming, homework tutoring, 3 full-size outdoor rectangular synthetic turf fields, 2 synthetic diamond fields, and dedicated large space conference room.
So no pool.
There was a
Well,
gentleman
I
that's
think-
part of
I
the,
think they envisioned 3 scenarios. One was the huge, big, let's get everybody from the East Coast kind of facility.
Yeah.
Right.
A second was a regionalized facility where people from all over the Cape, South Coast, whatever, would come for events and activities. And the third option was more of a very localized, we have our basketball courts, we have our soccer fields, we have this, we have that, some of it's indoors, some of it's outdoors. And yes, maybe we'll have a component for arts and education. So it's, and as Sharon said, I don't think they've finalized everything, and I
The
don't
wordage.
believe
Right, the
they're
wordage.
into a pool for any sense of this.
there was a
It was
gentleman there.
discussed, we did discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a nice idea, that's me personally, but I think generally the group did not envision a pool for a variety of reasons. So,
There was one gentleman there that
Yeah.
spoke against the pool and having been connected to the Y pool.
Yeah.
Pools
So
are
I don't
tough
wanna,
for
like, step
communities.
out Of my lane, but I certainly know there's a lot in the public that would advocate or are advocating for a pool. So do we put that on the list, even though it's not recommended from?
I think it's a good idea.
It's on number 9.
Well, see.
I wanted to know the answer to the question of how the general public felt about an
Yes.
indoor pool aquatic center, because that's been talked about for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, in the high school, kids could use it for, if they want a swimming team. I think, I know Nauset
Yeah.
has a swimming team and,
But should we that
you know,
now also be on this question?
Yeah,
indoor
I
facility.
agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
a pool aquatic center is very different than
Just
even
a
a
pool.
sports complex. It just brings it to a whole nother level.
What about hockey? That was the other thing that got mentioned occasionally, but
Chamber shut that
did they?
2 seconds.
Okay, we don't want to ask. them.
I don't know.
We have Tony Kent and then you have the Hyannis, so. Okay.
Of course, if you built one, they could augment the Hyannis tour.
Well, technically, Tony Kent is a DY combo, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I don't think people realize that because it's in Dennis.
Yeah.
Lots of the.
Gallo over in Bourne.
That's true. That's huge.
Got it. Yeah. I feel like the more things we have here, the better.
I mean, we could put an ice rink under the basketball court. So if we really wanted to go big.
You know, I think a lot of it is if we end up going private, you know. It's gonna be what the market, we don't have a market study. We've heard a lot of anecdotal, not just anecdotal, but real information from people, but it's not somebody who's putting money down on it. That's where the rubber hits the road. Yeah. I'm not going before the finance committee on that one.
When it comes to open space, what's your highest priority? Pretty simple question. Conservation and protection, recreation, public use, or both?
I haven't looked at their sheet. Did they have something else on there? Do you have it handy?
Well, this is the draft that they sent out, but their primary was obviously staying outside of all of their regulatory requirements, including the newly mapped vernal pool in the back.
Community gardens was one of them, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. And
Yeah.
pollinator gardens and yeah, they have some good suggestions
And the
here.
walking trails were to augment the walking trails that are but those sites.
I think there's the concern though from water department is they really don't want a ton of people on their water department land doing
Right,
God
but-
knows what. And we don't maintain any of those trails.
Right, but there's two sets. There's conservation trails, which are used, I guess. Yes,
That don't directly abut this property now.
oh, I thought they came.
You can go down the shared use pathway to Horse Pond Conservation Area. Yeah. Yep.
Does the bike path run through that?
The shared use pathway that they just constructed on the east side of Higgins Crawl,
Okay.
that goes from the site. And it also is going to connect in and go all the way up and connect to the Cape Cod Rail Trail.
That's
Extension.
further up.
Hmm?
It's further up. The bike trail comes out by the Realtor building.
yeah.
And then goes across.
But then it connects to the shared use pathway on Higgins Crawl, which connects you to
Good.
Sandy Pond
I'll have to check it out.
recreation area. So, yeah.
So community gardens, can we add that because they mentioned it?
So we. Do you want to go to the next question just to look at it real quick?
Oh,
I think it might make more sense to
sense
add it
here,
here.
sure.
I think that one's more the general, how, like, do you want it to be passive or do you want it to be active recreation?
Yeah.
And then this next one is the one that goes into the actual specifics. So that's where you'll add community garden.
Yep.
Is a botanical garden ever recommended?
What's that?
A botanical garden? No.
There was nothing.
Where
No one's
simply
mentioned.
becomes like a high-end botanical garden that becomes a
Like-
tourist destination.
Like Heritage Museum.
I'd love that.
Yeah, like I heard-
Homestead, you know, kind of like a necklace. It works its way down to the golf course and you're on the bike trail. I really see that as. I'm getting off topic, but if these towns, you know, do that, you are
Make a
working
network,
through
yeah.
cranberry bogs and this stuff becomes an, you know, an homestead type necklace thing, you know? And the Cape should really reach way out there for that. To the gardens, to the, you know, the vernal pools where you can stop and, you know, this type of.
It wasn't mentioned. We could, I don't know if you want, yeah.
I'm not, again, I'm kind of new to this and not necessarily trying to brainstorm a bunch of new ideas. I was just curious if that ever came out, because from like the economic development and tourism perspective, like, botanical gardens are such a huge draw all up in New England.
So so is it, when you say community gardens, I'm thinking vegetables for whatever reasons, you know? But you're thinking more flowers and, or,
That's.
The whole site could be a botanical garden.
Heritage gardens
Yeah.
where you actually have a private company that manages and runs the botanical garden, and you have to access it.
just walk through it.
Yeah, but you have to pay an admission to get in. So the botanical gardens up in like Booth Bay, Maine. I don't know if anyone's been there, but
Yes.
it's like an incredible tourist destination.
The one in Sandwich is huge too.
Yeah, so
Right.
and it generates a ton of revenue.
How many
And it's kind of
acres, out
integrated
of
into
curiosity? Any idea how many acres?
But that one, definitely bigger than Mattacheese, but I mean, Mattacheese is certainly big enough. I don't want to get us. I was just curious.
It would be nice. We used to walk through something like that.
What is it, in Sandwich, Heritage? No.
Heritage.
Cambridge Museum.
That's your hydrangeas.
Yeah,
Are there any other amenities that, yeah.
so the difference between an indoor pool and aquatic center, can somebody explain that to me? Is it a big difference?
I think an aquatic center is more like maybe some of the programming, training, and also actual competition. Versus
Yeah,
that, just versus that indoor pool for us all the,
Multiple pools,
Yeah.
diving, you could have
oh, diving. geez.
lap pools. No, literally hot tub saunas, can be, training can be used for healthcare, rehab, yeah.
So is that so different that they should be differentiated? I know why you put them together, because
That's what
they're similar.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. It is different. I mean, it's like tournament level versus the local, kind of that kind of change.
At least the debate I hear from like the public is that there's not a lot of just indoor swimming facilities for the public. And an aquatic center wouldn't necessarily alleviate that problem, because it becomes a site for competitions and schools, and that draws like revenue, but it's not necessarily great for folks who want more swimming pools for kids. And
We do have the advantage of having so many hotels with indoor pools, and they do offer
Not enough.
not enough of them.
I mean, I think there was a point where I just wanted to go swimming, get a little different kind of exercise. It's either already owned by an organization, you have to be a member, what do they call those, a co-op, whatever. You have to be-
Timeshare.
Yeah, timeshare, you have to be part of the timeshare. Or they just don't offer it to the public. So it turned out that the only place I could go was Barnstable, YMCA, the Y. And it's like, that's great, but then I'm also competing with everybody in that town to get time to get in there, and then I gotta drive, 15.
I know that Donna Murray swims at some pool at a hotel, and she has to pay money for it. And I do know the rec department does something with a hotel pool for swimming lessons for the kids. So there's
Oh, so maybe I need to
something,
get that,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that information needs to be put out there, but I do know the timeshare sometimes during the really cold months, January, February, when there aren't too many people coming to the Cape, they might offer their pool then.
Oh, it's awesome.
But between the hours of, 6 a.m. and 7.
So could we separate the aquatic center from the indoor pool? It just strikes me as something, now that I know what aquatic center is.
You might need to explain it a little bit, what the aquatic center is.
And do we want to say splash pad? Because there's one right down the street.
Just want to Sandy Pond that we just installed, so.
I would take it off. It's gonna be like, no. Okay. So, well,
We could,
What ownership structure would you prefer for this site?
I think one of the questions that really came out of the last CEDC meeting was what control you had over it if you were to sell the property. I feel like maybe some type of explanation needs to be included here, kind of noting that even if the town sells it, we can still set parameters on the disposition to get what we want there. So that people say, well, I don't want to sell it, then we don't know what it's going to be. It could be anything. Versus there's going to be some type of mechanisms in place so that if you private sale it, it's not
So we're
just
gonna do a
anything.
button there. And
Or you could maybe
describe-
just explain it in the upper thing.
Yeah, and yeah, italics. Might be helpful to, as, also note that if it's owned by the town, then that is funded by taxpayers. But I think some people will be like, yes, rec center, our kids, our people, and they'll be like, do you want to pay for all of that?
Absolutely.
Because that's on us.
And no tax
And then they
revenue.
will say no. So that could be tough, helpful to point out,
Mhm.
because I think we would all be like, no, it's ours, keep it to the town. We.
So does the ownership question come back up in the end? Where that description also would be? Or is that not there?
For the single use, the multifamily or the multi or single use question? Because I thought that's where Jay was saying, put that before the ownership or somewhere near this ownership.
Yeah,
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
is this the only ownership question, the one that we're talking about now? I'm sorry. So what are we putting in there? Just a written something, not a button, right? We're just putting something in writing there? I'm just asking, I missed,
No, we're putting in something about even if the town sells the property, they can still set parameters on the development that occurs at that site through a land disposition agreement.
Right.
okay,
Yeah, that was a
And
lot,
this
big conversation.
remains- You have one, like check one, single choice.
okay.
Yes,
Simple
please.
question.
Cool.
The existing building requires significant repairs.
Did we skip it?
Oh, no.
We all just agreed that we support zoning changes.
Yeah, sorry, the yes or no.
Yeah,
So
do you think everybody's gonna know what that means? I
So
mean, I know what it means.
Add a not sure,
Pardon?
so add a button that says I'm not sure.
are you looking for more explanation of what zoning means?
Yeah, so,
Or an information link, one or the other.
Or both?
I'm just asking the question, so it's,
You can explain it just really quickly.
Why is this asked, this question, this one?
Yeah.
Do you need that question? Seems like that sounds real.
well, they wanna know if you go to town meeting that they might have said yes to this question.
But there's so many different,
True,
there were so many different options here. It seems like it's premature.
I think a lot of people have really emphasized how much they want to keep the auditorium and gym. So that might be interesting to know. I wouldn't put mothball it, do
Oh.
nothing, because it's not, that's
Oh,
not an
we're
option.
talking-
Sorry, we're still on the
Oh,
zoning.
sorry.
we
I'm
went
sorry.
through zoning.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So what was the question?
I don't think
Yeah, I do too.
Because I might support zoning changes for
You don't know.
Sorry.
one thing, but not another. right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take it out?
Yeah, I think you take it out there.
Because if they're picking commercial.
this is
needs to be
Kathy's
rezoned, then-
question. She
No, I
needs to
didn't-
know this,
No,
not that you
no,
asked it, but
no, yeah.
it's important to
No,
you.
it's, you know, you're never gonna pass anything until you've fully educated the community on it,
Exactly.
and we have
Yeah.
nothing to educate them on, so,
Right.
yeah, it might be premature.
Premature.
Okay.
So no mothballing, I guess is my only comment. That's not an option. I would also say, you know, no specific occupancy type, which would require additional build out costs. So it's even, the 41 million is the starting point. It's not even, it's gonna be, because 41 million, well, the school was 117. Why didn't they just renovate the school? Is the demo only 3 million?
That's what.
Is that what it said?
Right.
It's like 2.9
Okay.
something.
That's the demolition, but I think there's also eliminating I don't know. I think eliminating the hazardous materials is separate from that. So,
Yeah, I almost think it's 3 million plus. But you don't want to say it. I don't know. Do we know it's really? 3 million?
Yeah. pretty much. But then I think Roby was talking about the demos.
Get disposing of it where you could
Disposing,
possibly
yeah.
go
Yeah.
to. Somebody's mentioned maybe using some of the concrete if possible for a reef.
but then they tell you that some of the concrete has silica in it, and
Which
so
we're not
you
gonna
would
wanna
be
do that.
put
Yeah, good point.
in the ocean, so.
True.
So what are we doing here on 12? Are we gonna have a button about the 41 million? Or is what the explanation is that fine, or do we also wanna put a figure in for removing hazardous wastes?
Maybe say demolition is estimated at 3. This does not include disposal of hazardous materials.
You could say see link that brings them together.
You could do
Yeah.
just the links to both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, fully demolish estimated $3 million. Renovation and reuse estimated $41 million.
I go down into a rabbit hole with links. I'm gonna finish the survey.
Yeah, people won't do the links.
They won't.
though.
All right.
Only the really interested will, and they probably have already digested the website.
So
Okay.
what did we change there? Anything? 12?
Getting rid of the last option and then you're just gonna put links in?
Mothball it. We eliminated mothball it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think we should do nothing.
Dennis did.
You mean
I just don't want to look like we're so kind of
I'll be honest.
clueless if we think that it's gonna just be spending $200,000 a year in perpetuity.
Well, I would hope they would say that they wouldn't even check it, right?
Plus the cost will keep going up. Do nothing is expensive.
Cheaper than $100 million building something.
Yeah, there will be probably some people selecting that.
I'm on that boat right now, to be perfectly
Do
honest.
nothing?
Absolutely.
Do nothing to the building. All right, well, that's up to you guys.
Turn off the electricity, et cetera, bada bing, bada boom.
So it was $111,000 last year, the taxpayers.
At this moment in time. Turn it, shut it off right now.
Isn't it difficult to get, like, if it's totally mothballed, you can't get insurance? Exactly, I was gonna go.
There's no insurance on that building.
There isn't?
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought if it's unoccupied,
So-
it's different than if it's occupied.
The only, I kind of like that idea in one sense because it would save the taxpayers money, but the recreation department has been using that building
time.
extensively for indoor
Gym.
pickleball and
So
basketball.
that's do
Yeah.
nothing to me,
Yeah,
like as is, nothing's changing. Recreation still uses
oh,
it.
okay, okay.
I,
So,
I mean, I had said this at our very first meeting. I think the recreation use is a huge issue with this project. And the amount of use that it gets from town residents.
but maybe the public will support that because there is a question that says keep the auditorium and gym.
Yeah, I'm just,
And then you put the money into that to make that viable.
again, this is just my very humble opinion, but all the meetings that I've been to, it's like all these grand ideas. And who's paying for it, right? And we consistently talked about at Chamber and CDC, like. They tried this, the funding went through. They tried this, the funding fell through. They tried this, the funding fell through. And you look at how much existing space is on the Cape for retail, restaurants, right? I mean, there's that strip mall, if you want to
Yeah.
call it that, next to the West Yarmouth Post Office, that's been empty for as long as I've been here,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
I don't know, I think it's worth having, but I will fold to the group if everyone disagrees.
I think it's important to give as many, like, we might all be biased. We've been through more of this process than the mom that I talked to on my way out of the track meet, so I think that any choices, whether we agree or disagree, we should try to be as impartial. And so I think you should keep it. My
I'll
take.
take out
Yeah,
mothball it. I'll-
Yeah, I don't know. about that.
I'll
It is,
say, do
Yeah.
nothings, parentheses, maintain status quo.
Great.
Mhm.
Yeah, continue as is.
Sounds good.
Benefits of the site use are most important to you. This is a ranking. It hits upon kind of the environmental component of it, the recreation component of it, housing component. It's more that 30,000 view question. Economic development. And then having a mixed use hub.
Mhm.
So we had a lot of questions, already that asked what we want to use with the site. And so forth. Is that question actually necessary? I mean, we have the, question about the open space. We have the question about what kind of activities. And
I like the simpleness of this one. You
It
know,
kind of goes with
Okay.
number one, right? Policy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Works for me then.
That's like your number one. We can move it out if you want.
That's how it strikes me as a policy, right?
okay.
What do we exactly mean by promoting economic development?
Whatever it means to you.
Is that what we want it to be?
Tax dollar. Yeah.
Is that jobs?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm asking is I question whether we should specifically call out taxes. Tax revenue.
To do what?
But at this
Well, how
point,
would you
move
phrase it?
to Number one, after number one, where it says like the, we need to build up more than residential tax base. So then if it gets moved behind that, I think then people say like, oh, the economic would be,
That's what it means.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just another way of asking number one, I guess, in so many ways, which is fine. It'd be interesting if somebody answered it totally different.
Yeah.
That question is, really well.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So we're going.
okay.
That is a good idea. Actually moving into question two.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like, no time. Brilliant.
Yeah, I would.
What concerns, if any, do you have about site development? Increased tracking of traffic or parking issues, zoning infrastructure limitations, environmental impacts, development delays, neighborhood disruption, noise pollution. I don't have any concerns or,
Be specific,
Yes, please specify.
What did you say?
be specific on that other.
We care about light pollution?
What was it?
I said, do we care about light pollution? I'm just
Sure.
thinking about if you're lighting up all these fields like a Christmas tree.
Sure. And noise.
And noise from pickleball. Yeah, he's got them.
What is development delayed?
meaning that a developer buys the property and sits on it, or
Oh,
gets delayed in some way, so you thought something was gonna be there in 2 years and it's still not there 2 years later.
It's Yarmouth. That's a loaded question. We're trying.
I can take that one out if you don't think it, maybe just say timeline or,
I think development delays are fine in this, in terms of the wordage. I mean,
And then we get to demographic questions.
If there is like an increased housing costs associated with that,
that's a good one.
With what?
Oh, like if we
Casey.
keep it as a county owned thing, that it would increase our taxes? Is that what you mean, or?
No, actual costs.
So it's like rotates?
or It's
I see
kind
what
of
you're
on the
saying.
gentrification.
Yeah.
It's gonna increase property values there, and it becomes an affordable housing issue for some people.
Mhm.
So we're parenthesizing increased costs.
Increase property value.
Increase
And
your,
Or
con-
decrease,
I was gonna say your concerns,
Mm.
impacts to your property values.
I'm in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
right, there's a potential decrease.
Impact on property values.
Yeah,
Is that, are we doing that near delays? I mean, development delays?
It's on the same bullet list.
It's on the same list.
Oh, I think of increased costs
It's gonna cost more 5 years from now than it would cost
to
today.
build, yeah.
But so
Two separate things.
this is separate, this is more like if you
Nothing
have a expensive development that goes in there, it's gonna drive up property values in the surrounding area. Or if you have something that doesn't happen there, likewise, it would negatively impact your property, like. So. That's kind of the idea. of that.
How did you bring it?
I didn't phrase
Oh,
it.
you heard it.
She just says impact on property values.
Not really a neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
It's, it's smaller than a lot of the neighborhoods. It's somewhat limited. It's not like a giant Captain's Village over there,
Yeah.
but there is one. It's not as huge. And then Lumberjack has a little bit, but then as you get further north, it's all the kind of the commercial.
Across the
And
street,
then there's a lot of conservation land as you get further down.
across the street.
Across the
Drive
Across the
down.
street and then further down at the corner of Buckeye.
Some very expensive homes across the street.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Chickadee? Are you talking Chickadee?
No,
No, across the street.
across the street.
Really?
Benjamin Way, go down Benjamin Way, everybody.
I think like, to that point, I mean, there's a pretty wild swing of property values in that neighborhood.
Right.
And so any type of development is going to,
Do something to somebody.
yes,
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Oh my gosh, we're on timeline.
So is increased costs also in there?
It's, I'm sorry. what?
Is increased costs also in there in development delays?
Did you want slash increase costs?
Yeah, both of them. I mean, impact on property values and increased costs. Or vice versa, whatever order you want to put it in.
Increased costs to.
Development
The
delay.
tax-
To
Taxpayer?
development, no, to the development,
Construction costs. Construction costs?
right, yeah.
We probably should add something else for increased, public safety costs.
Mm. Municipal impact.
I don't know how you phrase that, but you put a sports complex and you're gonna have a,
Parentheses, within the parentheses, increased costs, construction, and then. Name, what you're suggesting.
It's just increased municipal services costs or
Yeah.
something. Like, and then maybe public, the public safety. I think that
This, that's it. it's a public
Portuguese right down the
safety.
street.
Well, I don't know if that just,
it's right, yeah.
Right. Okay.
would the delay do that, or would it?
Depending on the type of development that goes in there, like, when we had our
Possible, yeah.
interviews with police and fire, it's like a lot of the nursing homes, they get called, the EMTs get called there when maybe they should have called a private ambulance, or even some of the affordable housing projects, they get a lot of people who just call EMTs, they come and they just get help or something with something that they have a problem with. So they're caught there, and I think even the memory care facility, I think you guys did an ambulance receipt analysis
did.
under FinCom, and it
It's
really
insane.
exploded.
It's
It's just
insane, and
exploded.
then it's the whole, I mean, not to get too much in the details,
You
but
can't
it's
get
the,
reimbursed.
it's the lack of reimbursement because they're you know,
Impact on
it's brutal.
Yeah, and I don't think you get paid if you don't transport either, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you may go and spend all that time and
So
need to get
fix it,
coverage, but
right.
then you don't get paid for it.
It's a fixed amount on Medicare for how much that transport costs, so they lose, you know, I forget what the number was, but
Substantial.
$1,200 or
living.
something every transport.
Yeah, exactly,
That's it.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. I'm gonna push the button to the demographics.
So what about something that just said like impact on municipal
Services.
capabilities
Yeah.
or
You could leave it vague, I think, it's just,
it's not abilities or
Impact,
capacity,
staffing,
municipal capacity? Okay. Okay. See, you were trying to jinx. my plan.
right?
We still haven't-
Haven't had long enough day.
No.
Keep going.
it's not-
Yeah.
Just do more. Demographics. How close do you live to the site?
Does everybody know where it is? So do we want to put an address? I don't know.
very beginning.
Okay.
you can add it here again. You can just say.
Might have to add it in
I can
again.
add the address,
Yeah.
that's. fine. I'll do a little. Okay. Okay. What is your residency status? Visitor, are we sending this to people who aren't residents?
You can't prevent someone, so if they find out
Mhm.
about it,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
How about eliminating I work nearby, but
Oh, you do?
do you want to say you work in town?
I don't live in town.
But I think if you work in town, you may have some interest in what happens here. Because lots of times they'll say work in town, don't
Okay.
live in town.
Well, they were asking about residency, that's why.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We can change the wording.
Yeah. Whatever to get us through it.
So you are gonna add a work in town.
I think we should say
Yeah,
that. yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
So I guess I'll have to pick one because I work in town and I'm,
Mhm.
And pick live here.
I would pick-
Yeah.
I'm joking.
In town, but I don't
I work in- Live elsewhere.
live elsewhere.
I'm working, living on.
How long did you guided or worked in town? Okay.
So we're leaving, what is your residency status, right?
Yeah.
And this will just define who they are that's filling out the form.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you gonna let people have the option not to respond? You have children under 18 living in the household, which is very top. Okay.
So we skipped, how long have you resided or worked, or did you just do that?
Yeah, no, we just thought it was straightforward.
Okay,
And then we have the general comment box for anyone who feels like they want to add anything.
How many characters or words?
I don't know, I have to check.
Yeah, I mean, personally.
You
I
might
think-
want to limit it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
you
good
wanna
idea.
Trust me, if you had to collate these things, which I'm sure you have.
so did we, I'm sorry, you went by 19?
Yeah.
So do you have children under 18 living in your household? Which age group do they fall into? Check all that apply. So I have a child that goes to daycare that's in preschool or in elementary school. So
I click
she
all of them.
checks all of those. Okay.
I would just change, you actually can't answer the first question on that one. Right, the first question is actually a
You
yes
have
or no,
children under 18.
so you should just change it to if you have children, which is just.
Actually, it would also be interesting to know if I have kids 18 and over still living at home. You know, if they want to use the facilities, they have input.
Do children or grandchildren,
Oh, that's a,
Minors.
minors, yeah.
Yeah, mine is.
yeah, that sounds weird.
That's really what I think.
I'd say children.
Backyard.
Children or dependents.
They can call us.
Do you have dependents?
Maybe you go back to children.
So what's wrong with children and grandchildren? No?
Yeah.
Some people foster, some people,
Oh,
I don't know, it's just an all-inclusive kind of thing where you could be like, do you have dependents?
You have
that live
human
under
life
18?
forms that live
Yeah.
under 18. that live in
I
your
mean,
house.
I know a lot of folks who still have kids that are 20, 21, 22, still living there for a lot of reasons.
Mhm.
You know, cost of living is expensive.
so if you have children,
Housing is expensive.
What if you just say, who else lives at your house? Check all that apply. Daycare, preschool.
what about
um,
age?
And then add one that says over 18.
Mother-in-law.
Right, I mean, I don't know, it's just getting, we're just trying to get at that. Get it if you have kids and what they could, because that will impact recreation. Mhm.
I got a squatter.
It impacts what?
It will impact
Recreation.
Recreation, so.
Would it be more helpful to actually have the age instead of the schools they go to?
Challenge.
Oh, that might be a better
I-
idea to put it. Yeah.
I talked to Bill about that because originally I had ages and he suggested we change it to this.
And the reason being, you know?
Because people may be more inclined to answer this way versus ages.
I see that. What if you said who all live,
It's easy, so I had it, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, no.
We had it characterized by how the census characterizes it. And that doesn't necessarily line up with somebody who might be like in the fourth grade. Like there's different characterizations of what grade school means, what elementary school means, what middle school means, that don't line up with the census demographic information.
So how does the census, doesn't the census do age?
They do age, but what I'm saying is that age might not line up with what ages are here for school. And if we're looking at what generally a 10-year-old would do for activities, it'll be different than what like in preschool they do. 10-year-old would be fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade. So that would be more the elementary school.
so this is kind of getting a lean towards rec or right, current services that are being offered.
We have an intermediate school. so.
We have fourth through something.
Fourth
But I
through
think,
seven.
If I was a
Seven.
parent there, I would say, if my kid was in fourth grade, I would say that's elementary, even though it's titled intermediate. That's an elementary. kid.
Well, that's what they need.
I
If
think
they
the
live
kids
in
have
Yarmouth,
that.
they may
Three of them.
say intermediate.
Intermediate, they just have intermediate school.
To replace what?
Middle.
No, it wouldn't replace it, it would be in addition to.
In addition
We have
to,
both
it's still a middle.
There's a middle
So,
school?
Elementary.
How's that different than the intermediate school?
Intermediate is fourth and fifth. Middle school is six and seven.
7.
So where's the middle
What's
school?
elementary?
They're the same
They-
building.
Same building.
They have two
Oh.
separate entrances.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
What is elementary then?
K-3.
Which
And those
seems
are
really young to
Station
me.
Ave. Ezra Baker.
But that's here.
Elementary was K5.
You know,
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
not.
Other
that's what I was-
districts. Yeah, typically, I mean, I don't know, I have some districts that I work with that are K6.
I don't know, I
And
think I
K8.
might go with you, Heather. The first thought you had was to do ages. I mean,
Seems like it's getting complicated.
yeah,
Yeah.
What, can you just have something that says, who all lives in your house? Click all that apply. Daycare, preschool, elementary, intermediate, middle, high, over 18. I don't know, is
Yeah.
that hitting
I
on? what
I
we're
think they're
talking
Yeah, that sounds.
overcomplicating
I think
it.
so too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's just go with
Keep it
ages.
simple.
Yeah.
ages.
Keep it quick, keep it simple.
I mean, I don't know that, I mean, I don't know.
We can,
I wonder
we
how
can
much-
assign what they would
right,
be in
right.
just because we know.
I don't know how much it matters whether the kid's in third grade or fourth grade,
Yeah,
Right,
right?
I think as a
Even though,
parent.
even though there's
it's
two
like-
different answers, right?
Yeah,
right.
Well, but it could also go to the, like, if you have daycare and preschool, it could go toward that future planning for the school facility too. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I guess the ages could do that too, but
What question has the school?
none, we're talking about at the beginning, the very, like, things for taking this.
The question we're in is number
because
19.
you can't discount.
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, I know, I just,
Working in it.
Yeah.
What question did you just ask about, John?
if we had a, I didn't know if I missed early, the question about school. That may be small.
Elementary schools
Yeah.
mentioned as an option. I think you were gonna add a little bit more blurb in the beginning about the schools.
Yes.
These, yeah.
And you are gonna add a over 18, right?
So what did we decide for 19? Did we decide something for 19?
Ages,
She was just gonna ask about like, who lives at your house and, or
ages.
did you wanna do ages?
If you have kids under 18, what ages are they? And then pick the categories. You had it before. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Check all different ones.
You have dependents living in your house.
Yeah, there you go.
What age group do they fall into?
They're still dependent when they're 25. What are you talking about?
Over 18.
Maybe that's a good way to say it. Depend.
They're over 18 then.
Yeah. They're still dependents when they're in college, for sure.
Worse.
I do not know if that's what you were looking for. but
So we
it's
doing-
hard.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay. Can you not read my writing?
I think
Sorry.
I can. I
Um,
think I can.
I can type it.
So we did ages there and use the word dependent.
We're doing,
Your age group. Yeah, where would you put yourself?
we're gonna keep it as the separation of high school. We added intermediate. And then the last one
Wrong
is
question.
over 18.
You have dependents that live in your house. Is that not what you want?
I just don't know why we're complicating it. So it does seem complicated to me. And if you just have the age, have any dependents that are living at home and have an over 18. You know, that's all right. But
And then,
we have a disagreement about
I
that.
don't have a preference. I don't know. I mean,
Run it back to all.
if it's simpler and people might answer it more, I mean, I think from maybe Bill's perspective or your conversations with him, it has more to do with like future thinking, right? So a parent who has a 3-year-old is in a totally different place than me. And where I would want to see if something's happening there in the next 5 years or whenever, it's gonna be very different from what they might be looking for or in their consideration for if something might happen with a small. That might be the only reason he was looking for that kind of differentiation, but we could be not this difficult. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think,
Well, it was interesting. You said 3-year-old. I mean, that was the age that you used. I mean, the 3, you know, not the
maybe
daycare.
you may be
preschool.
3 and not in daycare.
okay, yeah, so if he's not opposed to it, is everybody fine then if you put ages back in? Going with the census? Because everybody knows their kids.
It seems simpler, but if Bill doesn't want,
I have. this preference.
I'm sure you would let it go.
The minute I check 65, I don't have to cover anything over there.
So are we moving on?
yeah, we are.
This looks great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good help.
Thank you, Heather, for doing all this work.
Oh,
Is everyone okay with everything we've done. Did we need to go back to, which one did we suggest we were gonna go back to? Two? And we were talking about, we added the tournament level and recreation as another question, right? And I think we were talking about indoor and outdoor recreation.
Madam Chair, if I might, if there's like like maybe she can send the update and we might be able to edit. I'm just
Sure,
looking
Yep.
and being mindful of
yep.
the schedule.
Well, I think we may have done what we wanted to do. The second part, Heather, you wanted to talk about was the public outreach approach.
Why is that still showing up?
This can be, we can make this.
Oh.
So in terms, we always like to have a public engagement plan that outlines kind of roles, responsibilities, and different strategies and tools of how we're going to try to get the community involved and engaged and interested. So, the public engagement plan that was emailed to you, and that's in this packet here, just identifies the goals that we have for this project related to public engagement, the strategy. So there's kind of 3 phases of engagement. The first one being the online survey, then a public workshop, and then a public meeting. In terms of the tools that we're going to use, we'll have that project web page. Everything that we put together gets posted on there. So people can refer to that as the hub for all of the information. And then, you know, just outreach materials in general, which BSC will create flyers for any kind of art, like any effort. So for the online survey, we'll create a flyer that can get sent out. Will help with those social media posts, will help with email blurbs. You know, we can put together all kinds of different infographics and visuals and all of that to help spread the word. With that, you know, it's really, and I'm gonna skip straight to the roles and responsibilities where the MUC committee comes into play in terms of public engagement is really helping with the promotion of it. So making sure that you're talking to your neighbors and your friends and, you know, anybody who you think would be interested in the ultimate reuse of the site and saying, hey, did you know there's a survey out? You know, I can send you the link if you want to go to it, or if you go to the town's website, the link will be there for you to access it. Kind of talking it up in your circles and really helping to be the champions of the process. So, you know, knowing that you're spending your time every month at least meeting with me and talking all through all this and all those efforts, but also kind of being the face to the community of the approach as well. So I can keep it short and simple like that. You know, other things that help are flyering and going to businesses and asking them to put something up, like if there's a coffee shop that a lot of people go to, trying to.
You talked about a presentation at the Rotary or, yeah. Or
Just
just
sending out little
blurb.
cards.
We would do that, for example, I might take a pile of
Right.
flyers and walk around and.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And then, I had a couple of,
Yeah.
the workshop.
Mhm.
I mean, I see that you have it outlined, but is this gonna be, I guess the question is it gonna be more presentation or actually more hands-on for the people that are involved?
There will be a presentation component to it, and that will be to help display the survey results. So here's the survey that we did, here's the results we received. And then there'll be activities to kind of drill down in terms of those, to help us narrow down the reuse scenarios.
You can say break people into groups, okay, a little bit more involving.
Yes.
Because it can be pretty draining to just sit,
Yes.
okay.
So would it be similar to the community meeting for the LCP that we had in January?
At the senior center.
No, it's here downstairs where we had the tables and.
I guess we could talk about
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah, and we do have
in terms of the meeting schedule, we have another meeting before that, so that's where we can figure out what, and we'll have an idea of what the results are, so we can figure out what makes the most sense in terms of having facilitated small group discussions
Right.
or having kind of more of a voting board type of.
Oh, okay, that'd be interesting. Okay.
So it might be a combination of both of the
Two of them.
meetings we have for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
LCD.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Do we have a date for that we think? I know that the
Yes.
25th is now
Mm.
being taken up by the planning board.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Well, then we don't.
Sorry,
Where are you doing this? In
Well,
the
the-
hearing room?
that was the question, because when you're talking about hybrid capabilities and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
really, it's the hearing room. We can't do it anywhere else.
What about the senior center?
You can't, doing the hybrid at the senior center
Sure.
is like impossible. You can record it and then show it again later, but trying to get the hybrid
You do it at the
participation,
police station?
that's too small. It's even smaller than down here. On the hearing.
What
room.
about the school?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've got plenty of,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I mean,
really only-
if you're gonna sit in a,
Auditorium?
if you're gonna sit in the auditorium, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how expensive it is or.
Are we
whether
talking about
get-
this workshop?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe we pick a different date.
and we can always review the logistics later, where we might do it.
Yeah, that matters because we took a lot of time thinking about how that worked. The open house format that we had worked really, really well at the senior center because there was really no presentation. You just went around and talked to people and kind of looked at different objectives and goals and kind of ranked them. But then when we actually wanted to have a presentation and then drill down with very specific questions, facilitated questions in different isolated groups, that's what worked pretty decent in the hearing room. And we had room B as well.
And we have the online.
Yes, and there's 2 online breakout rooms as well, so people online were able to do it.
The senior center takes 300 people.
But it can't be hybrid.
No, but it could be recorded,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, but people wouldn't be able to participate online in a breakout room.
Right.
It's up to what you guys want to do and how you're trying to
Mhm.
tag into people.
I think hybrid sounds great, and I think if it's easiest to do it here, then we find another date. That's an option.
It would probably, I'd hate, I mean, you could probably kick the planning board out of the second, but I think that's a weird week for most people are on vacation, kind of that 4th week. So the 9th.
Oh, yeah.
July 9th.
Is that where we're at?
We're in July.
I'm on vacation.
Are you on vacation? Oh, geez, who said you could go on vacation?
Here we go.
What about the 16th?
That's why I wanted-
Vacation schedule kicking.
What about the 16th?
The 16th is a
June.
standard of June?
Well, aren't you talking about June 25th that you've booked the room?
Yes,
Okay, so the week before, the 16th.
it's the 18th. On a Wednesday?
I'm going by the early, the muck workshop logistics is on the 16th of June. What, is that a Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our normal Monday meeting.
Right.
So if we did the logistics in May, would we be able to do the meeting? That's all I'm trying to do is shift to without getting into July because.
Don't you kind of, you need to have the survey results. So I think the survey needs,
We were trying to avoid doing anything in July, August, knowing
Right.
that they're heavy vacation
right?
months, but. I mean, we could look to mid-July instead and leave the survey open.
We can check and see if the select board's meeting on the 24th. If they're not, I mean, that Tuesdays, they don't meet every Tuesday. They meet every,
Well, maybe.
Usually
there could
twice.
Be a discussion about this.
So if I'm-
ESC is not available on.
so if I'm
Which-
hearing you,
24th?
then
Who is
So you're only
October
available
is
on
an
June.
appropriate-
Yes.
Too late, or September is an appropriate time for a workshop?
It just drags the timeline out. It makes it harder for us to have it deliverable by the end of the year.
Okay.
So if we, and I did notice that the survey is only for 3 weeks. So is there method to madness there, in terms of the length of it?
3 weeks seems to be a good, because you do an initial push and you get a bunch of respondents. And then you do another push a week and a half later, and then you get another round. And then you know, then you close it when it seems like the interest kind of wanes. So we could always leave the survey open longer, plan for some kind of engagement in July, and do multiple pushes out to the community about the survey.
Well, we're already behind timeline on the survey anyways, because that says 4/20.
That was the development of it.
Got it. So 6/10 was when it goes out, and then 6/25 was when the workshop was. Am I looking at that?
No, it would have gone, so I built in the time to kind of draft it and review it.
Yeah.
And then it would, if it went out, if it was due on the 10th, it would go out next week.
Well, Heather, let me ask you this. What is good for you in your company? For this workshop?
If the 25th is no longer available, then I would recommend mid-July.
July date in particular?
It could be July 16th. That's a Wednesday.
That's when the planning board normally meets, but I don't think they're gonna be meeting a lot in May and June. I don't think they would mind necessarily, as long as I don't have any, I have no known business items at this time.
It could always be July 14th, which is a Monday.
Yeah, no, the rooms, it's hard. Wednesdays work because it's opposite planning board and there's nothing typically scheduled then. It might also be dates for the select board.
Well, there's a select board presentation on July 15th.
Well, that's gonna get pushed because the workshop is getting pushed, so everything's.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, why
Well,
did we
I-
lose the 25th?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have this planning grant that we need to complete by the June 30th. And it needs to be presented to the planning board. So,
So Heather, could you kind of figure out a suggested date with Kathy in terms of in a room?
I can also see whether, what the select board meetings are in June. And see whether we might be able, the planning board might be able to meet like on the 24th, if you can.
And was
Y'all let us
the,
know the dates. I guess you folks will let us know the date and hopefully it works for our calendars. That way you can figure it out.
the select board presentation, I thought was to introduce you to the select board. So there's no reason for that to change unless you want it to change, right?
What was it, the June 15th? Is it
7:15.
16th was when they were gonna talk with us about the logistics.
of the workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And this was just them going to the select board to say hi.
But what's this?
That's back in
That's this
a
month.
month.
Yeah, there's the select board meeting #1 on May 20th, right?
Where are you?
I don't even know, are they meeting on May 20th? Because they met on the 6th and they're meeting on the 13th.
Oh,
don't-
meeting one. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Is that your? I don't know. Did you have two meetings with them? I thought the select board meeting was down in September.
There are two.
So this could be our requirement, our muck. Muck was supposed to go to them.
Yes,
Muck was also supposed to go to the select board and update them.
update and introduce.
So that may be us. I
In
don't know.
July is what that is. But the 3.3, the select board meeting is supposed to be this
May,
May.
May 20th.
I think the idea was to then present basically everything that's happened today, all the teams, what the 3 were, and get down to what the ones are. I think the only people who aren't down to the ones is the economic development group.
Well, the final, just to be technical, it's not on the site yet. The final thing for recreation, economic, and actually housing too. There was this whole thing with at the workshop, they couldn't say it was
Yeah, but-
final, it was a draft.
But there was
because-
something that Mary went to the Affordable Housing Trust, they tweaked it a little bit, she went to the Community Housing Committee, they tweaked it a little bit.
And
I
then they
think they
came
have
to
a.
the workshop because they both weren't
Right.
tweaked together yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kathy, in the scope, it says, ESC will work with town staff and mock team liaisons to prepare a presentation of the work completed to date and discuss the planned public engagement.
I think
The
that
select board.
can still happen.
Mhm.
I mean, we understand what we're
We'll
doing.
just have to figure out
What date?
what date.
So it's for the select board #1 meeting, the 3.3.
Right, and we've got it as May 20th, which doesn't sound like it's the right date. But you're gonna check that,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yep.
And then your second, and then there's a question about the one that's listed at July 15th. Is that muck or is that,
Anything on here, I think is their scope. So 4.4 is a select board presentation as
That
well.
would have,
then-
would be to talk about the survey results.
And the workshop.
the Workshop. results.
Okay, so that
Okay.
gets pushed.
okay, so it was the workshop.
I hate
So,
I hate
I
pushing
think-
it, but I think it can get the survey 3 weeks might be a little short. I know that Bill wanted to do some postcards. He wanted to have a website made up of all the surveys. Trying to get that done in time would be really tight.
Maybe we can touch base about looking through this together and figuring out a revised timeline.
I'm running short on
Maybe
time,
we
just
can-
to be clear.
Yeah,
So I don't know if we wanna motion to move like minutes or.
anything else on the
Yeah.
public outreach? I'm still favoring a particular outreach to neighbors.
Mhm.
And I'm willing to concede if you want to join it with something else, but a letter has to go out to the neighbors. And we want their input. And if that's for the workshop or whatever to coincide, but there's got to be something that goes out to all the neighbors.
We need to have a revised schedule with those dates agreed to, and then we can list it all and send a letter out.
Okay,
We can draft the letter and then.
Yeah.
You guys can.
I guess if everybody's okay with that, I have kind of a strong feeling about, we've got to talk to the neighbors, listen to them. So. And hopefully they'll be filling out the survey.
So keep the 25th on your schedules. I mean, I'll see if there's something that might be able to be changed. But you, Heather, would be available on July 16th, is that true? I mean, I know that it's the way it is. I mean, you need a crew. You need your crew.
July 16th.
Yeah, that's when planning
would-
board normally is, but you'd have to do something different. I
We have
think.
nothing in our calendars.
Okay, all right. So maybe that might, when we look at the timeline, that might actually work out better. I don't know what everyone else's availability is on for the 16th.
Any other comments? I did notice that in your report, you also mentioned that there will be hard copies at libraries and for people to drop off there, finish
Yes.
there, do there, and drop off.
Typically, what I say is I put like a thing at the end saying, when you're done, mail it to me or drop it off to me or scan it and send it to me, and then I can get it.
Then you hand it to us and we can input it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And anything else
So,
from anybody on that particular subject?
so when's the mailing of it? When is this going out? Is the final date?
The survey now,
The
are you
survey, the
talking?
survey.
Well, we're gonna see it again and take a look at it, and you may do that by,
And we're gonna revise the schedule, so once we have the revised schedule,
Okay.
we'll know exactly when it's.
So we're not gonna meet, are we gonna meet to discuss that or?
well, that's a good question. And our next meeting is May. I'm sorry, June,
June?
what's the date? The Monday?
16.
16th?
Mhm.
Thank you.
I think you guys provided a lot of input at some point. I think you need to let us
Yeah.
roll with it.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to meet again specifically on it. I mean, she can send out the
Send
link,
it
and if
out.
there's something that's really obvious, you can send a response just back to her saying,
Yeah,
I think,
just send
I think
out
it,
what you said.
yes,
Right.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But for
us
open
to
meeting,
even
you can't
try
like,
it would
deliberate
be
or
fun.
on it via email, just so you know.
Anything else for Heather?
No.
so
Thank you
much.
very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Heather.
Stay in touch. I think we're gonna skip a couple.
Yeah, right.
I think we're gonna skip a couple things. We did have team reports, next steps. We're waiting for the final touches for a few of them. But they'll be posted up on the website when they're done. They're minute, so they're almost done. So, Bill wanted to have another discussion about minutes. Since he's not here, we'll postpone that. And the next meeting we have is June 16th. We may want to start talking about additional meetings for ourselves. And the reason being is that we have a lot to talk about and we need to get organized.
What do we need to talk about?
Just a few things. And, and so we may end up doing a couple meetings, a month. And
Well,
That's
send out
just
what
a-
you think we should be talking about, so we
Okay.
can all share that.
well, be happy to do that. And then, for tonight, any member questions or comments additional? And so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all your work. Yeah, okay, be safe.
John,
Yeah.
I was, John.
All right, thank you. Good night, ladies.
Good night, thanks. Hey, I'm sorry.